somebody that I thought would be fun to have on the podcast that we haven't had on before. It's not always about experts in their fields or anything. Well, I mean, it's so the whole point of this is to have like a neat
Keep your
conversation.
finger out of your nose.
I wasn't. I went like this. I scratched the side of my nose.
And so
Why are you staring at my nose?
Justin got to have his dad on for an episode.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be fun to have.
My dad.
Yeah. So we have my daughter,
Hello.
Lucy, who has a lot of hobbies and a lot of interests and stuff. And as the podcast is, we talk about our hobbies all the time.
Sure.
My brewing and you with all of your science stuff that you're always into. The two of us are also really big into, as Lucy knows, I'm also really big into like, just anything.
Brewing,
Conspiracy
cryptozoology,
theory, cryptozoology,
yeah.
all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, Lucy, what are you into?
Oh, hi. Yeah. I am into a lot of Civil Air Patrol type things.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to get into sports. I feel like that would be fun.
Yeah.
Tackling people for free. Seems like a fun thing.
I tried to get you into football this year because the football coach was like, "Why didn't you try out?" And
Well-
she's like me; she hates running.
I can't. It's not that I hate it. If I was good at it, I'd do it. I'm just not good at it. I have a lifter's body, not a.
Can I-
I might have to
I
turn
wanna-
her up just a touch.
I want to say something.
Yeah.
Like, you get haters about girls playing football.
Yeah,
Have you watched the clips from the Olympics of those girls playing rugby? I'll say girls,
I've
but
seen those.
dude, that
I've seen those. People are all over TikTok to talk about it right now.
like
They're
lifting
I
each
don't
other
wanna
up and stuff.
speak
I
with
mean,
you.
that looks cool.
they would kick our butts.
Oh yeah.
Like, not even actually. Like Lucy, I think would love rugby, but we don't have a rugby team
Yeah.
anywhere around
No, we
us.
don't.
I don't play sports, but I would probably get into rugby. That looks like fun.
So when I was younger, I want to say mid-20s, I worked on the ambulance, and I had the pleasure of working on an ambulance for an ambulance company in Waco, and right there by Baylor College, which we'll talk about Baylor, I'm sure. And Baylor hosts every year the high school girls rugby championship. And so I got to go as the standby medic for the event. And so they send you out in a little car and you get your little medic bag. And if somebody gets seriously hurt, then you use the radio, call for an ambulance. They come, they take the person, go to the hospital, whatever. But holy crap. I mean, you like you were saying, I mean, these girls, like, they weren't playing. I had never even seen rugby. And so I'm on the sidelines watching these, like, they're high school seniors, like 17 and 18-year-old girls slam into each other at full sprints. And I'm like, God. I played some sports with pads and stuff, and I'm going, I know how much that hurts.
It's hard to get into rugby as a girl. There's barely any people that do it.
Well,
And
that's true. No, that's very true.
It's hard
be
to get
assertive.
a team start.
Let's be assertive.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Like, I want my daughter to one day do like jujitsu or something to defend herself.
Right.
That'd be fun.
But if I could just get her on a rugby team,
Yeah.
That'd
she'd be
even
good.
better.
Yeah.
It would be better. She'd be able
Scholarships
to.
and self-defense?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Well, when I was down there, this one girl, I'll never forget this. So I didn't know this about rugby. Once you walk off the field, you can't come back. So, like, when the game starts, your starting lineup that's on the field, if you substitute a player, that player cannot come back into the game. So, like in soccer, like I coached a soccer game, coached Lucy's soccer team, and it'd be like Lucy, be like, "Hey, coach, I'm tired." I'm like, "Hey,
I
go, no
never
problem."
get tired. What are you talking about?
And I would tap the next kid, and they would run in. Lucy come out, get some water, chill, whatever, and they're like, "Okay, I'm good." Then hey, substitute, and you put her back in. Basketball, same way. In baseball, you have like pinch hitters and stuff. You can substitute. Hey, we're gonna do change up. This person's at bat for so and so. Not at rugby. So this girl comes walking over the sidelines. Of course, I'm in my medic uniform, and she goes, "Hey, can you fix this?" And she holds up her hand. And her index finger right here at the second is like 90 degrees.
Oh.
And I just went, oh.
That's how American football was before it got
Yeah.
watered down.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is like some 18-year-old girl with her finger just 90 degrees.
How
And I'm
many
like,
times a week do you think that happens to her?
oh, and
Enough times to like, hey, can you fix this instead of crying?
she was completely normal.
That's
Yeah.
called a psychopath.
And I was like, are you good? She's like, yeah, can you put it back?
Put it back.
And I'm like,
What do
no.
you mean put it back?
I'm like, no, I
just-
can't put it back. And I'm like quantifying this. I'm like, I have medical like.
You're more traumatized than she was.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, because like you could put it back, but you could damage a nerve, you could damage a blood vessel. I'm thinking, like, no, you need to go to because you need to go to the hospital. They have to set it, then they're gonna have to blah blah. I'm like explaining this to her. I'm like, no, I can't. Like, if I set it, there could be damage. Blah blah blah. And she's listening. She's like, and the game's going on because she can't step over the line. So she's like extending her arm off the
That's
field.
called dedication.
And
honestly.
she's like listening to me, and she's like, and she's like, and just drops it. And I went, oh, oh my God. And she goes, can you tape it? I was like, sure.
I guess so.
So I literally,
her finger's gonna be disgusting when she's older.
so I literally just took some tape. I put her good finger next to it, taped the two together. She was like, okay. And ran back
sorry,
out on the
she
field. And I
flexed
was like,
them?
oh my God, this is hardcore.
Yep.
But yeah, rugby's no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't tell if that's dedication or just being a psychopath.
Sometimes they're pretty much the same thing.
That's fair enough, honestly.
So, girl boss, tell us about Civil Air Patrol and why you went that way.
Yeah, first of all, what is the Civil
Yeah.
Air Patrol? Like, what's the history behind it?
Oh, okay. So the Civil Air Patrol is a kind of like a junior Air Force. It's for the kids who aren't old enough to get into JROCT or even the Air Force. But it's not like it's for 12-year-olds to 18-year-olds. So kind of right where teenagers are practically. It's so you can kind of get a start and figure out if that's really something you want to get into. I'm about to promote into an NCO, which means I'll have my own flight.
I know.
I'll have my own flight. I'm a senior airman right now, cadet senior airman. Not ma'am yet. I'm working on that. I'll be a ma'am in 3-4 promotions.
Yeah, you're
Wow.
getting into officers.
I didn't know I was in the presence of a soon-to-be NCO.
I'm
Pardon me for not standing up when you're present.
Yeah.
No, you don't always. Do you do that in the Air Force?
Yeah, when they come in, you stand up.
Yeah, you stand up, you call
For-
room to attention.
Yeah.
For an NCO.
What do y'all say? What do y'all say to call it?
Seriously? That's
Yeah.
Oh, no, not in the cadet system. In the cadet system, you don't stand up for an NCO, but in the like actual Air Force, you stand up for an NCO.
I did not. So in the
Do
Army.
y'all practice that? You don't practice it
we
at all?
practice it for our senior members.
Yeah.
Like Parker, I don't know what he is. He's
I think he's an officer. I think he's a lieutenant.
one of the two.
Yeah, I think he's a lieutenant now. He's
So
he's
what's funny about
he's
that-
aged out and he's come back
Feel,
as a
feel free
senior
to use
member.
this if you go Air Force. So like in basic training, that's the thing. Stand by. You say stand by,
Right.
And everyone stands up and is at attention. Not at
So
attention, but
stand by in
at-
the Army just means like don't go anywhere.
No, it's stand by and you stand up, and it's at ease, but you stand up.
In our cadet corps, we just say room attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you did it all through basic training.
Yeah.
So it's like these guys are hardwired, right?
Right.
And then you go in the tech school, and it's still a thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like as bad. But anyway, so you're sitting. You should do this if you're ever sitting in a room with a whole bunch of new trainees.
Right.
You can, so we'd be like, stand by me, and you can tell all
as
the,
soon as the first two syllables come out, they're
all
like,
the new guys are like jump up, right?
Oh,
or it'd be
that's
like
great.
sand fly, right? Like something they all jump up, they'll look
Just
at you
enough
like,
to give them trauma.
yes, exactly.
Oh my
the military's all about trauma, right?
Trauma
It's
bonding. It's fun.
trauma bonding. I love that.
So-
I like that word.
I love that I did not know this because so in the Army, so it is very like if you're in a classroom setting, we did a lot of classroom stuff in the Guard. You walk in, you stand behind your chair, which I know it's what you guys do. You stand
Yeah,
behind your chair until
at
they
attention.
tell you to. Well, no, we don't stand at attention. You just stand behind your chair.
Okay.
And then like the officer that was teaching the class, whatever it was, the senior NCO that was in charge of you for the day would walk in first, and he'd be whatever you guys were, if it was your squad or your whatever room, class, whatever he was using for the term, and he'd be like, class, attention. And everybody would stand at attention behind their chair. The officer would walk up to the front, and normally it was very, very casual, which they always like. It was always like, be seated.
Yeah.
Right. But it was like, you guys don't have to do this, but they always wanted you to do it. Because if you didn't, you'd get in trouble. But they always acted like, I don't care. And then he'd be like, be seated or take your seats, something casual. Then you'd sit down.
Yeah.
But if he was like, hey, I forgot my laptop, whatever, he'd be like, hey, stand by. For us, that just meant like at ease. Like, stand by, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. And they'd walk out of the room. They'd go do something. Then when they came back, you didn't have to jump back up or
Yeah.
anything.
No, standby is just very rarely would they call you to attention. Even if so, interestingly enough, when I went to my first base, when our first commander came in,
Yeah.
and I say that because we had a new commander probably less than a month after I got to this base. But the original commander, when you came into the office, stand by, and everyone's like, did the thing still. But then with the new commander, he's like, we're not doing this because he's in and out all the time, right?
Right.
And
Yeah,
it pretty much went
it's like
away.
the salute and the good morning, sir. In the Army, you only do it once. It was like the beginning of the day. You walk in like the room. Like I worked with officers. I worked with the chaplain. And as soon as he'd walk in, it'd be like, good morning, sir. You didn't salute indoors, but it was like, good morning, sir. He would stand at attention. He'd be like, oh, good morning, specialist, private, whatever you were. Then he went on with your day. And then every day he came back in, it was just sir. If he went to the bathroom and came back in, you didn't stand at attention. When he walked in the first thing in the morning, everybody up at attention. Morning, sir. Morning, everybody. At ease, as you were, whatever. And then it was chill for the rest of the day.
So why the Civil Air Patrol? Like, why did you decide that you want to be involved with that? You told us a little bit about like the history of it. Like,
Well, so the origins of it is it goes all the way back to World War II. When
Yes.
the forces were deployed,
Yeah.
they were the ones that like they spotted in case anybody came close to shore. They manned like anti-aircraft guns.
Oh, we
like the old
bombed
cartoons,
too.
like lights out.
That's the cool story. Yeah.
You got what?
We actually, I don't remember
The
whole
Civil
entire
Air
story for it.
Patrol in World War II are they have one combat kill.
Two actually.
Is it two? They sank a submarine.
Oh, cool.
They were like flying over some whatever. Was it German?
I think it was.
I think it was a German submarine was close, and they were like up in like a Cessna. I mean, like in a little
They
plane.
just tossed it out the
They
window.
tossed a grenade. They just like yeeted a little grenade out the
Okay.
window and sank a
That
submarine.
word's from a few years ago. Let's not.
Time to start a tally.
I was like, how would you like to be on a Cessna and like right under the window it has like
One line.
one little submarine silhouette like on the side. Little confirmed kill.
That'd be funny though.
So, are you thinking Air Force at some point? What
Um,
are you wanting to go into the military?
I would love to go to the military, and honestly, I feel like not a lot of people in my generation have that kind of drive.
Yeah, they're soft.
Not
It's
that
true.
they're soft; it's just not their interest.
No,
And
they're
honestly,
soft.
I think, as a person like me, if that's something I want to get into, not only would that be beneficial for my character, it would benefit the people around me. As other people affect you. Everybody affects everybody, and a good attitude is really something I can gain from that.
You're so wise. You must have a really good father.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Grounded.
I'm just kidding. I love my dad.
Oh, I love it.
Uh,
What are you gonna do in the Air Force if you go that way?
So I really just want to fly planes. I loved that idea since as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to space.
Your
and so-
grandfather was a pilot too.
Yes,
It's literally in your
yeah.
blood.
My mom actually said that we went to the Houston thing.
Yeah.
We got to go down and spend the night at the space station. Not space station. Jeez.
Space Center, Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah, Kennedy Space Center. It was really fun.
They got to sleep outside in tents like under the Saturn V.
Cool.
It was
Not
pretty
under
cool.
the Saturn V. That was. You realize how big the Saturn?
Yeah,
V
don't they have the one like laying on its side? I thought that was a Saturn V. They have
Yeah,
like
they have the Saturn V in a warehouse. It's a different thing. It's part of it.
That was the Uranus 6.
Oh, I gotcha. Dang.
Did you not?
Can't
get
keep
that?
it straight.
Okay, I don't think he got that joke.
Yeah.
It's for space.
That was a little Air Force joke.
Yeah.
I feel very very outnumbered today, which is really funny because like, so I mean Lucy was very little. I mean like pigtails and like
Hey, let's not. Okay.
like she was very little when I was in the Guard. I've been out for. What did I say? I got out 2013. Yeah. No.
That means I was 3.
Yeah, I think it
I was born
was.
in 2010.
I think it was like 2013, 2015. It was
Alright.
Hurricane Harvey. I got out
Okay.
when Hurricane Harvey hit, but like she was
That
at.
was before then, I think.
She got
That was like 08 or something.
no.
Oh, 8.
Harvey?
Harvey was
'cause
later.
He was still in here.
Where did Harvey hit?
We're
I
about
wa-
to find
I
out.
wanna
Is that
say
here in
it's-
Texas? Is that the one that hit Texas?
Yeah, Houston and everything. But like, so she was at like my AIT
Yeah, that
graduation.
had to be like 13 or 14 then.
She was at my AIT graduation when I was,
I remember
young,
that. Yeah.
and had a good time. It's like she's been around it, but when she got older, she's like, yeah, I want to do this and
It
this
gives
and
you
this.
the
And
year and all that stuff, but it doesn't give you.
let's be honest, the reason why you're even like the thing that you
2017.
2017.
Wow.
So I got on 17.
No way.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess so. Right.
I got out. Yeah, I got out right.
Wow.
Yeah, I got out.
way longer than it was.
It was just at.
Hurricane Harvey made landfall on the Texas coast of August 25th, 2017.
Yeah, so I got out the month before Harvey because my paperwork was processed. I actually had
How long have I known you?
not that long, man.
Really?
2020.
2020. Wait, that was 4 years ago.
When I joined the lodge.
Wow, I guess so.
2020, 2021, something like that. So 3-4 years, give or take.
Wow, man.
But like Lucy, her whole thing is you wanted to get into the Air Force because it's a path to what you want to do.
Which is
I want
flying
to go to outer space
outer
before
space.
I pass away. I feel like that would be fun. I've always kind of been interested in the outer realm, I guess you could call it. I don't know.
We
I
were just talking about that.
the outer realm?
Space in general.
Don't watch
Yeah.
that episode; it'll depress you. But yeah,
Trust me, I'm depressed enough. It's all right. But yeah, no, I'd love to go and I know I probably won't be able to go to the ISS because I know that's ending soon. I think they've already started landing parts of it in the Atlantic, if I'm not mistaken.
What's fascinating though is that you're going to get to like because you've been excited watching all the stuff about Artemis and like the hopefully going back to the moon.
I'm gonna nerd for a second.
Yeah.
So, I actually had a guy. What are you laughing at? I had a guy come to one of our Civil Air Patrol meetings. He was in the. I can't remember what it's called. We were talking about this in the car at home. He was in the branch that protects the Air Force, not the Air Force, the Space Force.
all the branches that protect the Air Force.
It's like,
Let's
it's
be
the
honest.
Space Force, like
You're talking about the security forces?
yes.
SF, the Air Force SF.
He
I did that for a little bit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
he protected the first Artemis launch, and I thought that was awesome.
It's cool.
He said he protected all of them because there was like 6 launches until one of them finally worked because we tend to lose a lot when it comes to launching things.
Well, you got to try things like till you get it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Amateurs train till they get it. Amateurs train till they get it wrong. No, amateurs train till they get it right. Professionals train till they can't get it wrong.
Yeah. But I thought that was so cool because the Gateway is what they're launching. And it's not there yet, but they're planning to put like an ISS around the orbit of a moon in a halo orbit so it can go to all parts of the moon instead of just like around.
To find a halo orbit, are you talking about equatorial or what?
So, like,
Don't sell me.
moon, it goes around, but it's able to adjust itself so it can go to
Because
any
like the
part of the
ISS
moon.
only goes in one orbit.
It doesn't change.
It is the ISS orbit.
Yes, but
Which
with
is
the Gateway, they want
because-
to be able to fix it so they can go anywhere.
Because the
Got
ISS
you.
they can't change the orbit because of debris. They know that
'Cause
where
we've
it is
we've
safe.
polluted so much.
Yeah,
that,
they know where it is safe. So if
Yeah.
they go outside of that zone,
Oh,
they
I-
run the risk
I
of hitting
actually-
something.
I learned about this recently. There's a theory that we're not going to be able to leave Earth in a few years
Really?
because
Why?
because of all of the debris that we're leaving in space. It's going to be extremely difficult to find a clear path out of here without blowing up.
Gotta thread the needle.
I throw that needle.
I don't know if it's that easy to adjust in
So
space.
I heard
That's
that
fair. That's fair.
I heard that was a big drive behind why Space Force even became a thing was to start trying to track a lot of that debris and stuff
Yeah.
was to kind of force like solar exploration.
I like the Futurama approach where we just collect all of our trash every few years and launch it into the sun.
That would work.
I'm sorry, I have not heard that one. I mean, yeah, that would.
It's a
theoretically
great documentary.
work.
You should watch it.
Oh,
It's called Futurama.
Futurama
It's a TV show.
sounds like a comedy.
It's a cartoon.
It is a cartoon.
I could guess.
You'd be it would help with your character definitely. If you're all about
Like
character development,
help?
you should watch Futurama.
Help is crazy, but okay.
I want to say 2 things.
All right.
First of all, it's not too late for you to go to ISS
Well,
because you're in middle school and high school.
Well, yeah,
you
but
got
I'm
plenty of
13.
opportunities to go to ISS.
I'm 13.
trust
It's
me.
going to be a minimum of 20 before they even consider it.
No.
Talking about different ISS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Actually, I'm a very intelligent.
My name's
and
not
polite
Ashley,
child.
first of all.
Actually.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I have braces, metal pieces in my mouth, make it hard to pronounce things.
No, that's your grill.
It's a grill for real.
I gotta speak in her generational terms.
Generational terms?
No cap.
No cat.
You're low key being mid right now.
That's why she's going for NCO. She's gonna go for that Riz.
I already got that. No.
Also, yeah, I did do security forces for about a year
Okay.
because the base I was deployed at when we started doing Iraqi freedom.
Okay. Where were you deployed to?
At that time, I was in Idaho at
Okay.
Mountain Home Air Force Base, and so Iraqi freedom, and we had so many security forces deployed overseas that it was called augment T duty,
Okay.
and so they pulled certain people to
Like
fill
rotate.
in. Yeah, basically to fill in for security, and that was a blast.
I bet.
I would not- I would not
Like
want
the
to be-
military police, almost, right?
I wouldn't want to be security forces like for real because they're deployed all the time.
Yeah.
That's like the real military in the Air Force. I wouldn't want to do that. But so don't do security forces.
Down to security force.
But it was really fun. I enjoyed it. That they were a cool group. Did lots of security.
Did you get that like super sweet like the beret?
Yeah. I still have it somewhere. I had a black beret.
I hated when I was in. They didn't do berets unless it was the dress blues, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. I want a beret.
I don't
Driving around a
remember-
base out in the desert at 2:00 in the morning. It's a different experience.
Really, really.
I bet.
I don't remember which
Because those skinwalkers do not care.
that. Okay, Skinwalker. We're not. Wait, no, Fuzz. I don't know which beret it is, but we have a beret in the Civil Air Patrol you can wear with your ABUs.
The blue beret.
What does that have to do with
Blue beret.
skinwalkers?
No.
You're like, oh, skinwalkers. That reminds me. There's these whole
He
berets.
said beret, so I was talking about the berets and saying pause on the skinwalkers. We'll come back to that in a second. I have a story about that. And
No,
going
you
back
don't.
to the yes, I do. And
So it's at Oshkosh.
then, going back to that other thing you had said. You were saying something. I said something. It was way earlier about us failing to get the rockets up, and
Yeah.
I remember I was at the church, help like hand food out for
Food
with
bank.
Haley food bank.
Yeah.
You laughing at? I was there with. There was a gentleman. He came and he had a Space Force hat on, and I said, "Thank you for your service," something like that. It was really old man, so I don't think he was in the Space Force, but I think he was really into it.
Probably not.
Exactly. But he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Do you want to get into that?" Because I had my NASA hat on, and I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Great. Are you gonna be the next Sally Ride?"
Oh
And I
yeah.
was like, "I don't."
I hope not.
I didn't know what to say. If you don't know who that is, that was the teacher that went up.
1986, the Challenger exploded.
Oh, okay.
She was the teacher that was on the
randomly
Challenger.
selected.
I see.
And
Which is the worst possible outcome for that mission because they hyped it so much that she was a teacher from a school.
What year was that one?
86.
Okay.
Yeah,
What was the one that blew up
retired-
in early 2000s? I was in basic training when that
Oh
happened.
man.
There's been more than one Challenger that have exploded. They're probably
They need to stop naming them that
Yeah,
then.
probably.
exactly.
The one that blew up over
Name
Texas.
them all the Enterprise. The Klingons can't take
The one that blew up
down,
over
so-
Texas, my dad was still doing law enforcement
the-
in Johnson County. They actually had debris.
You had to go find it.
That was the Challenger that came in. One of the Challengers crash landed while it was coming into the atmosphere and exploded coming into orbit. Not orbit, but
You know more about this than I do.
I'm a nerd and I have too much free time.
There's nothing wrong with being a nerd.
Exactly.
All
Yeah.
my favorite people are nerds.
So the Challenger blew up
I don't know about
January
that.
28th, 1986. And the other one was the Columbia. The Columbia is the one.
Columbia.
Columbia that blew up over Texas.
Yeah.
That was the other one.
What
You
are
know what they
getting
say
on the
what's scary
table?
about that is that they didn't die when it blew up.
Yeah. The pod was actually intact. That was 2003.
Got you. Yeah, I was
Columbia.
in basic training when that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember when that happened because they were like, it was on the news. Like, if you find any debris in your field, it's property of the government. You need
Yeah.
to call them.
They actually found some teeth or something not too long ago, like this
Really?
year. Yeah.
Oh,
Or maybe it was a helmet or something, but they're like,
I remember the helmet. I remember that story.
Yeah.
It was in a field.
yeah.
That's
probably what I'm thinking about.
crazy.
Was the head in it?
No.
Oh, okay. At least that's.
They're probably burned up. So
I think it's an exciting time to be interested in space exploration because of the privatization of it. We talk a lot about like SpaceX and
Yeah.
how that kind of changed. I mean, it's crazy to me right now that those people are stuck on the space station
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't get down or no.
because Boeing.
here's the thing.
If you
Boeing
can't
and
make a
Boeing.
plane, maybe we should not have them making a spaceship.
You gotta fly in your dream.
Keep this in mind.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just giving you thoughts here. You're more likely to explore space in the private sector than you are in the military sector.
Yes.
However, the military sector is great experience.
Yep.
And when you get out,
Yes.
here's the thing. I'm not old. I'm like early 40s.
Oh.
Jeez.
Wait,
Okay.
Okay.
Do you,
wait,
do you want
Dad,
do you want
you're
to
36.
do you want to hear wisdom or not?
I love that you think I'm 36. That's great.
Quit being mid right now. Okay. My point is, if you
Nobody can be more mid than how mid you look. Okay.
Oh.
We're not gonna go past that.
Cut.
That's insane.
my point,
Yes.
young lady,
Yes.
is if you go Air Force right out of high school
Right out of high school.
and say, huh?
I said right out of high school.
Right out of high school.
Yeah.
Or say, even if you go to college first, we'll say you go to college first, you can go in as an officer,
Yeah.
and kind of short track, which is wise.
I think it's
which is wise.
kind of your goal.
Yeah.
I think maybe anyway, we'll talk after because I don't want to. But my point is, you can go in and fly planes for 20 years, retire early,
Yeah.
and then go to like SpaceX
Yeah.
and say, hey, I have all this experience flying.
20-year veteran of the Air Force.
Yeah.
I'm a lieutenant colonel.
Because keep
Whatever,
this in mind. Hear me out. The military is so, and I'm lumping NASA into this because it's government funded. It's so incompetent that they couldn't even develop ships that were reusable. Right? It wasn't until
It took a while for them to do that. And
They didn't.
They didn't.
They
It
didn't.
was
Well, the,
space-
space, the space shuttle.
it wasn't until SpaceX came along.
Well, but the space shuttle
the
was
space
reusable.
shuttle was okay. Part
but
of it was
exactly
it-
the
Yeah.
launch system
It took
wasn't.
so much fuel to actually get that thing up into orbit,
Right.
and it didn't even work half the time.
But my point is,
Yeah,
as much as SpaceX has fast forwarded
Yeah.
space travel, right? Imagine 20 years from now, if it is possible to colonize other planets like the moon,
It will be private.
then
private
it will.
sector.
By that time, it will be private sector.
Yeah.
And so you can still do it. You can still retire really young, like 40, right?
And
It's going to be the moon, brought to you by Tesla and SpaceX.
But if you go to college,
I mean, that's what it's going to say.
I have one friend. When she graduated high school, she went to A&M and did the ROTC there,
Right.
and it's subsidized somehow by the military.
Right.
Oh, no. I'm 90% sure of this. Basically, the idea is if you serve a certain amount of time, they will pay off either a certain amount or the full amount of that degree that you did while you're at ROTC.
That makes sense. Like a scholarship almost.
Yeah.
So she's
But it's like
looking
through
into
A&M.
She's looking at Baylor. That's right down the road. They have the AF ROTC. It's an Air Force ROTC.
But I'm
program.
not sure she's paying any of that.
We looked at was the ROTC commander for Baylor. His son is also in
Civil Air Patrol. He's
Civil
one
Air
of my
Patrol
friends.
with Lucy.
Yeah.
And some of their meetings, they get to go to Baylor to the ROTC center.
Yeah, we use
Yeah.
the simulation room that they have. They actually have
get
a
to
really
fly
good
like the
simulation room.
F-16 flight simulator and stuff. And they were like, hey, when you're ready, you can apply after you graduate high school and go directly into the ROTC program. And depending on what they have, like levels of scholarships, like the highest level, like they pay for the whole thing, guaranteed placement as an officer, and you have to pick like a certain field
Yeah.
and like all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they have like so much you can live on campus. They like living expenses, food, like they do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or like, okay, we don't have that one, but we have the next level down is we don't pay for your food or lodging, but we'll pay for your education. Spider-Man. Oh, missed you. It's a good one. Right off my
I
head.
think
Yeah.
Because they,
Yeah.
so if
Civil Air
you-
Patrol will help a lot. I'm
I
not.
haven't
if
done
you
my
go-
encampment yet, but they have an
Yes.
encampment that you can go to in the winter, and one that has already happened this summer. But if you go to one of those, it'll really help with your promotion, and that plus your Billy Mitchell will get you a lieutenant after you've gone through everything else. Of
That's
course.
good. That's good.
It is really good. I haven't gone yet, but I
if
hope
you
to
go
soon.
through
Do
the
it.
if you go through the entire Civil Air Patrol program, when you age out at 18,
Yeah.
if you join the Air Force without wanting to be an officer, just straight up enlist, you automatically move up 2 ranks. So after basic training, you come out as a whatever that is.
You
in the
don't,
Air
you don't want to be
Force.
some peasant.
No, but I'm saying
You
like
don't wanna
they give like
you don't be an
because
officer in the balcony looking down at these guys
they look at it as
Yeah.
like for
with
her
your
she
butter
didn't,
bars.
she didn't join at
bars.
12. She joined at 13.
Mm-hmm.
So for
It
them,
was
they go
directly after my 13th birthday
Right.
because I started going to the meetings when I was 12, but I actually enlisted or whatever you want to call it, enrolled when I was 13, like the week after my birthday.
So for her, she's going to have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
Okay.
They look at that as 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's
Yeah.
6 years of
Yeah,
quote unquote
'cause,
military experience before you even show up for your first day of basic training.
Because you do, I'm sure you know this, but you get your second lieutenant,
Yeah.
first lieutenant, and then bam, you're a captain.
Yeah.
You're a captain. It's in the Navy. You're a captain.
Yeah. And that's a serious rank.
Well,
That's a like for
Yeah, it's-
jobs. Like in the military, captain, the bars carry weight, man.
yeah.
There's a lot of butter bars in the military.
You can retire as a like not retire, but if you just served as a captain and got done, that's a pretty big accomplishment right there. Like, man, you're a captain.
Because going up to go from captain to major, that's a step. That's a career.
It
move.
is.
That's a big
It
deal.
is.
And then major to colonel is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, those are big things. But there's a lot of people that are lieutenants because anybody with a college degree that joins, you're a lieutenant.
And you already have a lot of experience as major. Israel tells me you're a major pain all the time. So you have
All the time. I'm a woman. What else do you want? My job's
Constant.
to make things complicated. That's-
but really it's like I mean, really if you lay it out, captain, major, colonel,
Lieutenant colonel.
lieutenant colonel, but
Yeah.
you
it's the
still
same thing.
colonel.
It's the
If
same
you don't
thing.
say lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, you call him a colonel.
And then if you want to stay past your 20 years, because 20 years you're a colonel. If you join as an officer, right? You at 18, you join as an officer. After 20 years, you will be 38 years old and a colonel, and you will be able to retire with. It's not just like a little bit of money. You have an income for life that's decent. If you say, I'm going to do 5 more years, you re-enlist from 20 to 25. Now you go from 38 to like 43. You know, his age. Now all of a sudden you're his age. You could be a full bird colonel.
Yeah.
Now you get out. I
Well,
have
might have been.
a very good friend of mine who was in active duty Army. He served his 20 years. He retired as a lieutenant colonel. Okay, same thing. 20 years, did his lieutenant colonel. When he came out, he was the assistant. Was it? Was the Secretary of Defense? He was the Assistant Secretary of Defense to President Bush
IDK.
Oh, that's cool.
as a lieutenant colonel. When he left,
Wait, did you just say IDK?
yeah, when he left service as a lieutenant,
okay?
Not really.
when he left service as a lieutenant colonel, he went into, I say politics, as the Assistant Secretary of Defense. When he left that after 4 years, he was the CEO of Bell Helicopter. Like that was the job he got.
Being an officer opens doors.
Oh my God, 100%.
Because you make
then
connections.
he just retired a couple years ago. But when I was in the Guard, because of his 20 years of service as a lieutenant colonel, he came into the Guard. He's still in the Guard now because after leaving Bell Helicopter, he rejoined, and he is now Brigadier General Robert Hastings. That's he was my battalion commander when I was in, and now he's the Brigadier General over the whole
you
freaking
need
thing.
to understand this though too.
He's a cool
Also,
dude. Cool dude.
The more time, and I don't mean this as a negative thing necessarily.
Yeah.
The more time you spend in the military, the more incompatible it makes you with civilian life.
That's true.
You'll come home on leave, especially here in Hillsboro. You'd be like, people are fat, right? That was a big takeaway. Like I come home and leave, dealing with thin people all day because they're in shape and they work out.
Not just thin, it's fit.
They're fit.
They're
They were
fit. Because there's some big boys.
I don't know if I can achieve that, but I'll work.
Yeah, no, you're good.
You they'll take care of it. Don't worry. Even the Air Force, they'll take care of it. Between your salmon dinners and your lobster
Oh,
lunches,
nice.
you'll.
Oh my God.
The weird thing is, I don't like salmon or lobster. I don't like them.
Oh, you should probably just go Army then. Eat
you need
MREs every day.
Fingers of death.
Yeah, no, that's not actually.
What are the fingers?
You've never heard of this?
I've never heard of the fingers.
The Army has this one MRE. It's Vienna sausage and gravy. Right? Like the little wiener
No, you
Vienna
don't have to
sausages.
explain it anymore. I immediately understood what
And
you're
the
talking about now.
gravy is like translucent, grayish gravy.
It's not like the gravy I ate earlier. at Dairy
No,
Queen.
yeah, oh god. But they call them the fingers of death because you open up the bag and like you pull it out and somebody'd be like, "Oh my god!" The only thing worse than that is tuna. That's gross. That's just a gross MRE.
What do you do if you get the fingers of death?
You hope there's a new guy you can trade with that
Hang
doesn't
out near
know.
the bathroom. Hang out
Yeah.
near the bathroom.
You just have a light lunch that day.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you don't pick in the Army. Like you just go through and they just have a box and they just hand you one. No, there's a couple you can trade because there was some that I just didn't care for. Like I didn't like the stroganoff. That's just not one that I like.
You know how they decide
but
what
I would trade with the guys
MREs?
for the vegans.
You know how they decide what MREs the Army gets?
They're the one. Well, I can tell you all
The
of
ones
ours
the Air
were,
Force turns down.
all of ours were expired.
Oh, were they?
My 5 years in the Guard, I never had an MRE that was within date. So what they do is active duty would get it, and they'd be like, "Oh, this is expired," and they would pass it down to the Guard, right?
That's crazy.
And then the Guard would take a pallet of MREs randomly. They would cut open the pallet, and they would pick a random box, and then they would cut open the box, and they would pull out a random MRE, and they would send it off to be tested, right? And they'd be like, "Is it still safe to consume?" If it was safe to consume, they came back to the same pallet and they slapped up, "You're good."
You know who tested it? A Marine somewhere.
Yeah, Marine. So like, all
These
of
aren't
our-
my usual crayons, but I guess I'll try.
if any of my friends from the Guard are watching, the Korean War Waters, that's what we jokingly called them. They had these pallets of Propel fitness waters. I guess like nobody ever bought them, so they like sat in some warehouse somewhere
We're
for.
giving them free publicity right now.
Oh no, because they were gross. They were gross.
Hey.
And they gave them to us, but whatever base they went to, they sat out on the line for too long, like in the sun. So you would open the bottle and you'd get it to about here, and you could smell. It was a cross between plastic and fish. Somewhere like in that row, and then you would take a drink. You'd be like, "Oh, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can do this."
Delectable.
And so we jokingly said that it was water from the Korean War. It was like, "Oh, it's our Korean War water." So yeah.
Well,
that's gross.
everybody's gonna drink water no matter they like it or not.
No.
You really tell me you'd rather die of dehydration than drink fish plastic water?
I was the medic, so I would just be like, "Oh yeah, this other dude is totally dehydrated. We're gonna go inside of the air conditioning," and then I just go like drink out of a sink.
Give yourself an IV.
Sink.
Yeah, I just drink out of the sink. That was my golden ticket when I was in because we had. I hated running. I
Me too,
despised
bro, me
running,
too.
and we would have these guys that like a new guy would join, and the next morning he'd be like, "Oh man, I don't feel like PT. I don't feel like running," or it'd be like 114 degrees outside. We're at some like
Would
you
they
know,
make you run in 114?
yes, and then they
Hey,
had like.
hey,
Yeah, Air Force doesn't run.
I
They have,
know,
they have
right?
treadmills for that inside the air conditioning.
Exactly. Like, why run when you have treadmills?
we didn't have PT. We had NT. Nap time.
I like nap time. Nap time is good.
We still did PT, but it was almost like PE in like elementary school where
You
you
play
like.
kickball,
Did you get ropes and stuff?
It was called
combat kickball.
combat kickball. Thank you.
Combat balls.
It was like Red Rover, let the security forces come over.
Yeah, yeah. No, security forces are like the real deal.
No, I know they are.
But-
the Air Force has some of the like most high speed operators.
No, we have
in
like,
the military.
We got like SEER.
yeah, those
We
guys
got
are
TAC
gross.
P.
TAC
We
Ps.
have
the combat air controls. Those guys are dope.
You got
Yeah.
remote control cars.
No, they have the most hardcore dudes. Okay, if you, I always tell people, okay, it's never in combat, never deployed. Okay, but as I've been told, what do they say? Even SEALs need heroes. They call the Rangers, right? When the SEAls get pinned down, they call them the Army Rangers. Those guys are they're bad. Okay, those are some bad dudes. Okay, when the Army Rangers get pinned down, who do they call for?
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. No, they call for Air Force Pararescue. PJs.
Oh, yeah. PJs.
The PJs. I'm gonna tell you right now, when they talk about SEALs needing heroes, the heroes call the Air Force.
But you know who teaches all those guys?
Who?
The SEER instructors.
yeah.
And you want to talk about
You know what SEER is?
I heard of it.
Yeah.
search, evasion, and rescue. They put you in the most inhumane situations.
Basically, it's if you're ever captured.
Yeah.
This is like, and you have different levels of SEER because it's like, what's the chances of you being captured?
Yeah.
If you're just a normal person, you go through SEER. level 1 or whatever. If you're a pilot where you might get shot down, you have to go to like SEER level 4.
Yeah. It's
And they
basically
put you in like a makeshift prisoner of war camp.
Yeah.
Where every morning they go out and raise a flag for this like made up country, and you have to stand at attention. And they put you in a room with no food, no lights, no water. It's cold. There's music.
They talked about that at our
Yeah.
character development meeting in Civil Air Patrol.
Yeah. I never had to go through that. I was so grateful.
Our Captain Goodman, he did have
He's
to
a
go
cool
through
guy.
it. He's really cool. He had a friend who went through something like that at one of the top levels, and he was showing us some of the forms of torture that they didn't actually do, but they had.
they would still
told you
do
about it.
things.
He said that you tie
They'd
your
spray
hands
you with
together.
cold water and stuff and make you shiver. And
They tie your hands behind your back and then dislocate your arms over you.
Yep.
And tie it to your ankles, and I thought that was atrocious.
yep.
There's also a thing where they'll like put a bag on your head and
I hate
put a
that.
snake in there. Or like, yeah. And they tell you
Not
it's poisonous,
steak.
but it's
Not
a snake, not a steak. I mean, it's Air Force,
Steak?
but it's not a steak. It's
I'm confused.
a
What
snake.
A snake.
A snake?
A snake.
Like a sneaky snake.
A snake?
Sneaky-
A
slither
danger
snake.
noodle?
A danger,
Danger
noodle.
noodle
Oh,
in the
goodness.
bag, and
In
you're
the
like,
bag.
you can't see it. You don't know what it is. Then they tell you it's poisonous. They'll torch you.
Psychological.
They can't. They
warfare.
can't. They can't physically. They can't do anything that will make you undeployable, which is what torture will do, right?
Oh.
But they still have things that they can do to psychologically mess with you.
Like keep you awake for 36 hours.
My TI.
Blaring music and bright lights and you can't sleep.
Yeah.
And then
I
they come in the
almost-
room.
I
Then they
almost made a
come.
Walking Dead reference.
Oh, no, no.
Just don't go see her and you're fine.
But here's what they do.
Well, you know what though? If you want to be, and don't be discouraged by this. If you want to be a pilot, you will have to take SEER school.
You have to go through SEER school.
Okay, cool.
But they'll come in the room and they'll be like
Dun, dun,
after you've been
dun,
awake for
dun,
36 hours, after they've put the non-poisonous snake around your neck and told you it was and you're terrified, sprayed you with cold water, you haven't eaten in like a day and a half. Then they come in the room and they sit down a plate of food and a cup of hot coffee, and they'll be like, "What's your job in the military?"
I'd eat all of it and then refuse to answer.
No, you can't have this food until you answer the question. All you have to do is tell us what your job in the military is.
Well, honestly,
But here's the thing.
You
Can't tell them that. The only thing you can say, name, rank, serial number. That's it.
Yeah, but
And so it's just a psychological game.
if it's a
to
psychological game, I mean, your brain
Because-
knows that whatever's going on isn't real.
yes,
No,
but not after
no,
36
kid, no,
hours
no,
of
no,
no
no.
sleep. And yeah,
It is designed.
they're
So
very
basic-
good at what they
Basic
do.
training. Basic training is designed to break you down mentally and rebuild you. SEER school is just designed to break you down. It's just designed to break
It's
you
to
down.
make sure that when you are broken, you are still functional.
Yeah.
That's it.
No.
It's the same thing. PT is not designed to get you physically fit. It's not.
designed
It's to
make
show
hate
you.
yourself. Oh
Not-
yeah, show
not-
you.
It's
show you.
designed to show you that you were capable of more than you thought you were.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now, if you had told me back then, hey, we're going to fill this backpack with 90 pounds and you're going to put it on and we're going to tell you to start walking and follow the dude in front of you and we're not going to tell you when it ends, that's psychological. When you're out there at 2 o'clock in the morning walking and you're going in your head, dude, I only got another half a mile in me. But you don't know if you got another 2 miles to go. Or it might be around this next corner. Or you're walking and all of a sudden there's a fire and food and everything else. They're like, hey, if you guys want to, you can go sit down, but the mission's this way. So it's up to you. You can quit for comfort or you can keep walking.
So
That's a psychological game. And I'm telling you,
Did they ever do that?
I want you. I
in
want you.
Ranger
To,
school, that's what they would do every night. They would like put, I didn't go to Ranger school, but they would get the guys, they would put them in, because it's cold. They would get them soaking wet. They would put them down. And then about 100 feet away would be a bonfire with beer and food and hot dogs and all kinds of stuff. And they would be like, if you guys have had enough, just go over to the fire.
Would
You can
anybody
sleep
ever
the
go to
rest of the night.
fire?
Oh, yeah. People quit all the time. Navy SEALs. All you have to do, hey, you can make all of this end right now. All you got to do is just go ring that bell. You ring the bell, and we're gonna give you food. You can get a good night's sleep. You can get all of it. The whole point of it is not. I tell you, it's not to break you. It's not the point. It's to make sure you're not breakable. That's it. It's so that we can see, are you the kind of person that can say, this
To test your
is more
willpower.
important than that? Because if this is, then whatever the military tells you one day this is, it will always be more important.
Yeah.
This might be my buddy that needs me to carry him. And you're like, there's no way I could carry him out. But if that is the thing that's the most important, you'll carry him out.
So
What's the old expression?
two
He's not
things.
heavy, he's my brother.
Two things. I don't want you to get discouraged about this seer thing because, and here's why. I don't know you, but I know your dad. And no. Shh.
Okay.
Quiet, Cody. Okay.
Quiet Chrissy.
Quiet, Cody.
It's quiet Chrissy.
You have your dad's genes. You're capable of anything he is, and he's
Sure,
he's
they're thrifted, but
he's
okay.
one.
Hey, you cracked a dad joke. She just throwing it back now.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you,
Anyway,
thank you.
but you have his genes. He's one of the strongest people I know.
Oh, please.
Okay.
I'm aware.
And so if he can do it, I know you can. Okay. But here's what you
There's a
do.
bit of a difference, but yeah.
Here's what you do now. Yeah, he's got muscles.
I have a nicer tan.
Wow.
Here's what
I
you.
was gonna say he's a man, but I mean that works too.
Sorry, I don't see
I don't see gender.
gender.
Well, hopefully.
You opened the dad joke can of worms.
Here's what you do. Here's what you start doing now. You have to start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Ooh, where have you heard that before?
Wow. Okay. Great. Well, I
You,
have.
no. You hate running.
We do it every day at school, so I'm gonna
You
get
do,
used to it.
you do. You put yourselves in a position where you're okay with being uncomfortable.
My method is embrace the
I,
suck.
I'm not asking you to justify.
God,
you,
I love that.
you don't have to. You don't have to justify it. If you're already doing it, fine. Okay. Look, I'm not judging you. Okay.
I'm already used to it, so go ahead, judge me. I don't care. He does it all the time.
I love that.
Wow.
I love that.
Dad.
She's like, I don't care. I don't
If
care.
it's criticism, I'll take it.
I'm not
If it's bad-
criticizing.
No. That's what I'm saying. If it's good criticism, I'll take it. If it's bad criticism, I'll tell him about it, and then
Oh.
he'll figure out what to do with it.
No, I'm just saying if you that is a step you'll have to take, and it will be possibly the hardest step you have to take.
But the big thing is you'll take 100 steps before that and crush them.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. There's a reason why they don't start with SEER school.
Exactly.
Twisted sort of way, SEER school sounds kind of fun. I don't know. If
Well,
that
here's the
makes
thing.
sense.
It's not fun. It's not fun. I would never in a million years want to go back to one of those ruck marches that I went on.
Yeah.
But now looking back, I got a set of spurs that hang on my Christmas tree, right? You see them every year.
Yeah.
I look back at that and went, I walked for 48 hours through 19 different objective and obstacle courses and everything else for 27 kilometers.
I think
I look at that and I go, I would have never thought I could do that. And I couldn't have done that unless I was with good men on either side of me that helped me get through it. But now I look back and be like, I'm capable of that. But that wasn't the first thing I did. That was like the 100th step
I
to
think
get there.
I think another big factor, and I think it like down this rabbit hole. Like our generation had a lot of success with stuff like that because we already hated ourselves.
Embrace the hate.
Don't worry, I'm already there.
Nicotine and hate and anything is comparable.
Teenage
Okay,
angst.
maybe the hate, but
But,
not
yeah.
the nicotine.
It'll come. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's the military will do that to you
They'll do
too.
that to you.
All right.
You get issued that with your MRE. Here's your cigarette and your snuff.
Oh my God. It's so true though. Like that's the military. People are like, oh, I never drank. And I'm like, until like, well, I joined the military. It's like, oh, I never had problems sleeping. Then I joined the military.
I've never had PTSD or anything. Well, I had arms until I joined the military.
I had arms until they dislocated them in SEER school.
That.
And then later on when you go to the VA and
No.
you're like, oh man, my arm, it just hurts so bad. And they're like, not service connected.
You have to be. you have to be deployable. They're not going to do anything to you that's going to make you undeployable.
Right.
All right.
Especially in the Air
That's
Force.
comforting.
Like you said, it's a game.
Will it hurt? Will they do things that hurt and are uncomfortable? Sure.
I have 5 siblings. It can't be that bad.
There you go.
If you have that mindset, you've already won.
Well, I mean, whatever sucks, it's either gonna be worth it or it's not, and I can't really fix that. So,
You ever heard me talking about you have to choose your hard?
oh yeah, it's gonna be hard no matter what. Might as well choose the one that helps you the most.
Right. And I tell her all the time, I'm like, getting up early is hard. Working out is hard. Running is hard.
But so is being obese and not being able to move around. So
Exactly.
choose your hard.
Choose your hard.
Exactly.
Boom, you've already got it. Like,
I gotta say,
honestly, it's a
you've done pretty well.
Thank you, man.
You just gotta know what you want to do, and if you gotta so there's
If your
there's two
mind
ways
is
there.
made up that you're going to get to that objective, God can't keep you from that objective. I don't know how else to put that to people.
I've already figured out what I want to do.
Yeah,
and
like-
if
Yeah.
I put my effort into that, nothing can stop.
If you put half the effort that you have into something, you're unstoppable. because half of your effort is still you're in the 99th percentile of children in your age group to begin with. You're in like every gate class that they offer, and you're like,
That's fair.
you're still like bored.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm doing all this other stuff like track and field and band and everything.
sometimes-
Your first chair in band,
Well, yeah, there's two of us.
it doesn't matter. Your first chair in band, and you're over here like, oh yeah, and I'm crushing these.
Are you the first chair or second first chair?
Second first chair, actually.
second first chair?
Second
Why does
first
she keep calling us Ashley?
I don't know.
Actually, see these? See these? They're called lisp initiators.
On the plus side, you'll get those off in the Army and the Air Force too.
Okay.
Don't go Army.
Lisp initiators?
Don't.
That's
yeah.
funny.
Lisp initiators.
Don't go Army.
Okay. All right.
Well, I told her, I'm like, there's a lot of like, plus I sent her this really cool TikTok the other day because there was this girl and she joined like right out of high school. She had like all these cool pictures on this TikTok and she's like, here's me and my best friends from high school. We joined the Air Force. Then she gets deployed. Then she met her husband. Then she like going through all this stuff. Then she's like, and I got burned out and I didn't want to re-up. So she went reserves. And then from the reserves, she ended up finding her like actual passion in the Air Force. And she ended up getting into recruitment and then getting into photography. And then she went back active doing something else. I'm like, there is so many jobs.
You know what your biggest challenge is going to be in the military?
What's it gonna be?
Don't get married.
I have heard. that from a lot
Don't
of
marry
people.
a military guy. Just don't.
Wait. You also forgot the 29% interest Dodge Challenger.
Oh yeah, don't buy anything in the same town as your base either.
Yeah. That's the best piece of advice ever.
No, but
like,
don't-
Dad, I was thinking about buying a car. Come home for the weekend. We'll buy a car here.
Oh.
The amount of divorces in the military are like stupidly high.
Yeah.
Well, I can think about it. You're gone forever. Like not forever, but like.
If you're in the
long periods
military,
of
that's your
time.
first wife right there. You are
I
married
think
to
that
military.
explains a few things.
You are married to military life because it is a huge part of you. What you eat when you're not at drill, you're eating for the military. When you're thinking about what job you're going to take, it's, will this job work with my military career? When you're thinking about, hey, do we have enough time to go on this vacation? It's, well, can I take that vacation or is it during one of my drills or extended field exercise? Like
Yeah.
it is a big portion of your life. And it should be because it's serious. I mean, you could get hurt, you could get injured, you could get killed. I mean, it's an important thing.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. I was telling her, I was like, I would never, ever, ever pick for any of my kids to be in the military because there's always the chance that something could happen. Always.
Anything can happen. You gotta prepare yourself as much as you can for it, but you can't always be 100% prepared for everything.
Well, if I told you don't join the military because something could happen to you, and I tried to keep you home and wrap you in bubble wrap, you could get hit riding your bike. You could get struck by lightning.
Yeah.
You could have a car accident 2 blocks from your house. I mean, like, life is going to happen. You can't wrap everybody in bubble wrap. But you have
And
to,
the more
like you
try
said,
to do that, the more like overprotected somebody can get, and then it gets to the point where it's not that you just are safe; it's you can't take care of yourself or anybody else. It gets to the point where you can't tell what's unsafe and what isn't. It's a whole wrap of things. There are people I know at school that they don't leave their houses, and it's not because they don't have anything to do. It's that
the world is
they're-
a scary place
they're
to be.
scared of everything
Yeah.
that could possibly happen. I mean, yeah, there's the whole like, oh, you poke your eye out, but like I feel like that's different from don't go outside and being fed stuff like that by your parents.
It's called risk assessment.
Yeah, there's
Everything has a risk. You lifting weights has a risk.
Yeah.
She wants to do competitive weightlifting in high school. And that's something she likes. And I told him, like, there's a risk to that. You could get injured.
Of course.
personally, I think I'd be pretty good at it.
Oh, your coach is already telling me how good it is. She does shot put. What did you get in state?
Not state.
Oh, sorry, district, because you don't do
I
state
got
till
it.
high school.
Yeah, no, I got third in district.
You would have gone to state if there was a state for junior high.
Third
Yeah,
district's a
the-
pretty big deal though.
Yeah,
yeah.
district. It was really big.
Wait, you left out the part. How many years have you been doing shot put?
That's my first season.
Nice.
She showed up and 3 months
I-
later gets third at district. I'm like,
first-
yeah, I think you'll be okay.
The first meet I didn't place because I was really stressed. I did not know what I was doing. The
Well, you
second,
were also trying to do discus and shot put.
that too.
Trying to split.
I did discus at my first meet and I dropped that immediately. I sucked at it. Apparently I'm really good at throwing things forward, heavy balls. Apparently,
I had to buy her a cannonball.
I have one in my room. It's great.
Serious.
It's pretty. It's 6 pounds. It's pretty. The boys' ones is 8 pounds. I cannot throw that as far, but it's still fun. The second meet I went to, I got second place. The third one I went to was first place. The fourth one was third place. I haven't gotten anything but podium except for the very first one, and then district was third place.
How heavy is a cannonball?
6 pounds.
6 pounds.
It's just shy of a gallon of milk.
Oh, really? I
So
don't
it's
think of it like that.
a gallon of milk is like 8.44 pounds.
You know what I'm going to tell you?
What?
You need to practice with 8 pounds.
I was thinking about
Oh, I
that.
see what you-
I
I
was
see
thinking
what
about that because whenever we get back to the school, they had a few balls, and 2 of them were 8 pounds because we didn't have enough girls' pounds. I think I was using
Always train harder than you actually need.
because then whenever you actually
Choose
do
your
it,
hard.
it's easier.
Choose
to-
your hard.
'cause then it's easier.
Because if you train with, pick the heaviest ball you can train with, and then when you go and get the girl ball, which honestly, I know about the whole boxing
Yeah.
thing, but I get that guys should not compete with girls, but also,
Depends on the sport
but girls should be
Yeah, it
able
does
to,
depend on
and the age.
but girls are capable of training just as hard as guys.
Oh my God, yes. Well, you saw the Olympian that she's the strongest woman in the world. She just broke the world record at the Olympics. Japan, I think she's a Japanese athlete. 397 pounds on a clean snatch pull.
I wish I had sent
Like,
you.
sitting on the ground, grabs it, throws it up to her chest, squats it, comes up, and split presses it. I'm
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
good God.
There's
Because there's the thing that everybody's talking about. I'm not gonna say everybody, but most people are talking about how strong the men are.